Good morning and welcome to Friday Morning Dharma. Let's begin with some meditation. Please settle into a comfortable meditation posture. If you'd like, please feel free to emulate a mountain as you ground into your seat, grounding down into a balanced, stable, unmoving posture for meditation. In the entire universe, there is no more compelling example of ancient Zen awareness than the mountain. Very gently, please bring your awareness to the exhalation of your breath and allow your exhalation to be just a bit longer and a bit more pronounced than your inhalation. Please feel free to experiment with pausing briefly at the bottom of each exhalation. Now is not the time to reflect on events that have occurred in the past. Those events cannot be changed, undone, or recreated. Nor is this the time to speculate about events that may or may not occur in the future. The future is unknown to us at this time. Now is the time to be fully present here in this moment. Now is the time to give yourself full permission to enjoy engaging in a practice that's going to bring you a peaceful state of mind, and thus creating the causes for you to experience a peaceful world. And with that, we can gently transition into meditation on the inner body. To accomplish this, please draw your awareness inside of your body and become aware of sensations. These sensations may start in your hands and your feet in the form of a tingling, perhaps a lightness, perhaps a heaviness, perhaps a pulsation. No analysis is necessary. There's nothing to figure out. Just be the silent observer of these sensations and allow a more tranquil, awakened state of awareness to emerge. The word sewa translates to tenderheartedness or warm-heartedness. Ultimately, it is this warm-heartedness that gives rise to meaning in our lives. There is nothing more important, more meaningful than our potential for infinite, infinite tenderheartedness, infinite warm-heartedness. Happily, this sewa is an innate part of who we are. It's the essence of who we are. So, very gently, I'd like you to please redirect your awareness to the region of your chest. The center of your chest is the seat of your tsewa. It's continually residing. It's a wellspring that cannot be exhausted. And for you to come into contact with your tsewa, all that is needed is for you to remember that tsewa is there. And we can remember this by bringing our awareness to the region of your chest. So, for the last 2 or 3 moments of our meditation, please do exactly that. Draw your awareness in toward your chest and allow your awareness to rest in that place. No doing is required. No analysis is necessary. Just allow your awareness to rest at the seat of your tsewa. Now, please gently redirect your awareness once again. Become aware again of this collection of parts that we've agreed to label physical body, and allow your breathing to become less shallow. Taking deeper and deeper breaths, become aware again of the garments of clothing resting on the surface of physical body. Become aware again of your surroundings inside the room that you are occupying. Deeper and deeper breaths, and become aware again of the world that exists outside of the room that you're occupying. Become aware again of clouds, of blue sky beyond the clouds, of outer space beyond the blue sky. We dedicate all of the positive energy, all of the merit from this morning's meditation to world peace. May all beings without exception soon come to enjoy a state of complete, perfect fearlessness. May all beings without exception be completely free from all forms of emotional and physical suffering. May all beings without exception be happy, peaceful, contented, and free. Completely fill up your belly and lungs with air, and when you're ready, you can open your eyes and bring your meditation to an end. Welcome back, and thank you. So, a week ago, we finished our text, Training in Tenderness. Not that there is necessarily a definitive completion. That's a text that I think I'm going to refer back to over and over and read many times. It's, yeah, first time I've been through that text, and I just loved it. And I can see myself calling on it a lot in the future. I look forward to that. We're going to start a new text. I don't know about you guys, but I enjoyed having a text to sort of guide us through the teachings and our meditations. And I'd like to start another book a week from Monday. But before I talk about that book and disclose which book it's going to be, I just want to share with you a little bit of kind of soul searching that I've been doing over the last, basically since the time of November 5th, Election Tuesday. Yeah. And I have been, I've been living in Silver City since 2007, but started teaching meditation in 2008. So that's what, 16 years teaching various forms in various venues. And all along, I have made it a point to make the classes that I teach, I use the term non-denominational, not associated with any doctrine or specific path or religion or anything like that. Along the way, I have, along the way, it's no secret that I'm a practicing Buddhist. I entered the Buddhist path in 1999. But when I taught the classes, I made it a point to make sure that folks knew that the teachings that I offered weren't the exclusive property of Buddhism. And, I sort of every time I made reference to a teaching that is kind of specific to Buddhism, like maybe views on rebirth or maybe something like that, I would fall all over myself to disclose that and, make caveats about you don't have to embrace this and, just kind of, I feel like I was so preoccupied with not being dogmatic or appearing that I was proselytizing that I almost did a disservice to the teachings of Buddhism. Like I was so hyper vigilant about not coming across as proselytizing, even though I never do, um, or coming across as being dogmatic, which I don't think I ever am. I still did that almost in an apologetic way. And glad to know that. I sort of regret having been so apologetic about a beautiful set of teachings, yet I guess realizing my error better late than never, I guess. So since the time of the election, I have been thinking a lot about paths, PATHS, paths. As I say, I have been on the Buddhist path since January of 1999. And I've said in our these Monday, Friday classes, some of you have been attending these classes. It'll be 4 years in January, which is pretty amazing. Congratulations. But you may remember at the start of the various series that I've offered, I've said, you know, I've been meditating for a long time, and sometimes I have good meditations, and sometimes I have less than satisfying meditations. Yeah. Sometimes the meditations feel great, sometimes not so much. But the fact that I have a meditation practice has been a source of refuge for me, regardless of how the practice is going. Yeah. Distracted or good focus, heart based or intellectual, whatever. Just knowing that I have a meditation practice and am working that practice has been a source of great refuge for me. Kind of that's something I've been able to fall back on. So it is with the path, with being on a path, even more so than a meditation practice. You know, sometimes my practice of Buddhism, sometimes my practice of the path is going well, sometimes not so much. It kind of ebbs and flows, it comes and goes. But knowing that I am on a path, a reliable path that will lead to relief from suffering has had a very grounding effect. Maybe, not maybe, without question, the most grounding influence in my entire life. You know, you know, my mind can be a mess sometimes, suffering from attachment and anger just as strongly as I ever have, you know, asking myself why am I doing this? Why am I meditating so much, studying, contemplating, you know, when the things that push my buttons that have pushed my buttons continue to push my buttons, why? The answer is I'm on a path. I have entered a path, I am committed to the path, and I'm progressing on the path. That has been everything for me. it's been especially gratifying since the elections on November 5th, as I look around and see a lot of people struggling, a lot of people struggling with the outcome of the election. Some people struggling, for there are a lot of people out there for whom the election went the way they wanted it to. Yep. And they're still struggling. There's going to always be struggling associated with worldly paths, right? We get the president we want, but we don't get the Congress makeup that we wanted, right? We get the president and the Congress makeup that we wanted, but we don't get the cabinet appointments that we want, or the local races don't go the way we wanted, or whatever. we are seeing very clearly, we're seeing very clearly that some of the paths into which we have taken refuge, maybe over our entire lives, are not valid paths of refuge, regardless of whether you are on the left or on the right. The political path is not a valid path of refuge. We know it. It changes all the time and it doesn't work, right? The political path, I'm not going to go on too much about this. I should just leave it at saying it is not a valid path of refuge. How can we know this? Check your mind, check your degree of suffering. Has it diminished over the course of your political engagement? It hasn't for me. I sort of renounced the political path a long time ago. I'm not saying don't vote. I'm not saying don't pay attention. Um, I guess what I'm saying, it kind of comes down to like the practice of all practices, to my way of thinking, being in the world, but not of it, right? The path of economics is another one. I'm allowed to say this. I have a bachelor's degree in economics. You know, it's not a valid path of refuge. Making money, hoarding money, acquiring material possessions, and then holding on to them, not a valid path of refuge. In these times of uncertainty and unrest, now is the time for us to examine paths, to think about true paths of refuge. And where I'm going with all of this is that over the course of the last 16 years of teaching meditation in Silver City, um, I feel like done a disservice to a lot of the meditation students that I have taught, um, by not explaining the benefits of being on a path, the benefit of being on the path, and the absolute importance of it. We've tried worldly paths; they don't work. You know, they just don't, and we've known this for a long time. I think now is an ideal time, maybe the time of all times for us to find a wisdom path and to take refuge in that path. Enter that path, practice the path. It's the fourth noble truth of Buddhism. First, the Four Noble Truths, to refresh your memory, you should know suffering. Two, you should abandon origins. You should abandon the origins of suffering. Three, you should attain cessation. You should attain cessation from suffering. Fourth, you should practice the path. And I would just invite you to ask yourself, is there a difference between me practicing a path and then entering a path and practicing that path? Yeah. I'm coming up, I'm bordering dangerously close to the C word, the commitment word, but I'm particularly I'm a little bit biased with regard to the Buddhist path because it's the one I know the best, and I can speak from experience on the merits of it. Um, and I'm happy to explain the merits of it and will do so when asked. But ultimately, any wisdom path, any wisdom path will do as a source of refuge. What constitutes a wisdom path over a non-wisdom path? Does it have to do with training your mind? Does it have to do, is the path an inward path as opposed to changing the externalities and hoping they stay the way we want them to? For me, that's kind of the fundamental litmus test of a wisdom path. Does it have to do with the inner as opposed to the outer? So I guess I say all this for a couple of reasons. One is that, you know, everything I offer in these Monday, Friday classes have their basis in Buddhism because it's all I know. I'm not going to start proselytizing and talking in a dogmatic way. Um, and yeah, and I hope that to the extent that you haven't already, you will think deeply about the benefits to you of entering a path, working that path and following it. A week from Monday, we're going to start a new book. It's called In Love with the World by a Tibetan Lama named Yongey Mingyur. In Love with the World. And then the subtitle is What a Monk Can Teach You About Living from Nearly Dying. This is a monk who was sort of born into kind of a world of Buddhist privilege. It's not a great way of putting it. He was sort of recognized as being an incarnation of a former great Lama. So he was brought into the Tibetan Buddhist school and trained and led a very insulated life, and everybody like served him and kind of gave him what he needed. And but he always had this wish to go out and do a wandering retreat, like to just go out for an undetermined length of time and just wander, becoming a wandering homeless monk, like a sadhu in India. And so he was the abbot of this big monastery in India, and he left in the middle of the night with the clothes on his back and just a little bit of money for a plane ticket, and off he went into the world living an anonymous life. And that's the basis of the story. So it's an amazing, engaging story. It's a wonderful story, and he works Buddha Dharma into the story throughout, like teachings on death, teachings on sewa, teachings on impermanence, all woven into this story about what happens when he leaves this sheltered world, this safe, secure, predictable world, and goes out and lives with the clothes on his back. So we'll start that a week from Monday. In Love with the World, it's called. Just one more announcement before we go. I've really run over this morning. No Medicine Buddha meditation tomorrow or a week from tomorrow. I'm going to be out of town and away, so please make note. No Medicine Buddha meditation the next 2 Saturdays. So Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much. And yeah, we will have class, regular Monday, Friday class this coming Monday. And then a week from today, we'll start In Love with the World. So is that right? Did I? Yeah. A week. Sorry. Sorry. I'll send out an email with the schedule. But just know we'll have class on Mondays and Fridays as always. Okay.
Can I get on your email list?
Yeah. I'll grab email addresses from you guys after class. Thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Great. Jeff, great seeing you.
Yeah, likewise, Ted. Bye bye. Bye, everybody.